You know, most hypnosis trainers, they say, here's your certificate, bye. And you're just on your own. But we really, really do. And it's not just like Maury and I. You know that there's lots of people in our community that really, really constantly are giving you help and assistance. And it's fun because you take someone like Celeste Hackett. She's very often, you know, doing stuff, helping and coaching, and she's got thousands of clients under her belt. And you go on the Bolsom CD, and she's asking questions because she's a new one. And it's so fun. You go, oh, what does this mean, Cal, when you go da-da-da-da? And so, I mean, that's really cool to see that, okay, here's this person. And she published that last year. How much did she make last year working out of a spare room in her house, Maureen?
Almost $200,000. 4 days a week, 4 sessions a day.
Yep. Not bad. Not bad. But what she did is she threw herself into it. You know, she put herself in a position where there were no plan Bs. There's no plan B. It was this. And she ate, slept, and drank hypnosis. And she started, gosh, how long ago did she start? 13, 14 years ago?
About 14 years ago now,
Yeah.
as a five-pather. But before that, she was trained in from another school. And she found it for about 2 years and couldn't make it. And she was just at her wit's end. Then she found us. And that's the end of the story.
There you go. That's right. Well, it's not really the end of the story, but that's where she's at now. And she's a really good example. And, you know, she doesn't have a degree. She's just got the gift of gab and the really desire to do this. And so there you go. All right, let me run into a couple things that were mailed in. Let me see here. I didn't get permission to use their names, and no one said, hey, you could use my name. So I'm just going right into the question. Question number 1. I met a client who has a porn and sex addiction. Now he wants to date me and sleep with me. Well, surprise, surprise. Who would have thought, right? And we only spoke one time on the phone, and then he started to message me and tell me how much he wants me. Dear hypnotist, he wants everybody, okay? This person has a sex addiction, right? So therefore I decided not to work with him and referred him to someone else. Did I do the right thing? That was brilliant. Yes, I would not work with them. And this person, what happens is sometimes people will call up. They're calling everybody just so you can talk with them. And so they can talk about, you know, what they want to do and their problems. And it's actually salacious to them. It's erotic to them just to talk about it. And so, yes, and especially ladies, you got to be careful about the guys. But truth be known that there's, there's guys out there who like guys, and you could be vulnerable for that. And another thing that could be going on here is setting you up for a lawsuit, to get you involved in something and then sue you over it. So yes, hypnotist, you did the right thing. Any questions about that? Variations on a theme? Okay. Today I did phase 1 with a client that was diagnosed with cancer. The session was excellent, and I'm very proud of the work I did. The client lives in blank, 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 and is on her way in the next few days to blank, blank, blank for treatment at the Mayo Clinic. Okay, awesome. As soon as I finished, it occurred to me that the next session is AR. How do you like that? Oh my God, I've done phase 1. Now phase 2 is coming. Why didn't I think of that, right? It occurred to me, I'm just playing a little bit here. Don't be mad at me, blank, blank, okay? So as soon as I finished, it occurred to me the next session is AR. And that means I will dig in and maybe cause her pain by revisiting her trauma, etc. What shall I do? What was that? Was it Ann Landers that they used to write to? And I feel like that. Okay. I gave her the first 7-path recognition, and I'm looking forward to seeing her next week. She came to me because she wants healing and improving her self-confidence. I told her I'm not a healer. However, if she learned to relax and we clear up the stress, then her chance was better at healing. Okay, awesome. So, you're all familiar with my chain, right? Pressure on one side, pressure on the other side. External stress, internal stress. Over time, one of those links will begin to break. Some people get cancer. Some people have ulcers. Some people lose their hair, skin problems, liver problems, blah, 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 blah. Okay. But if we take the pressure, we can't necessarily take the pressure off the external stressors, although we may be able to do that but some external stressors we just got to put up with, right? But we can take the pressure off the internal stressors, old fear, old anger, all that stuff. And then what happens is we take the pressure off the chain. And that link that was starting to come apart, if it has any springiness in it at all, it can start to come back together. And human beings have that springiness. It's called healing. And so as we get rid of the internal stress, that creates a better environment inside the human being so that it can heal and respond favorably to proper medical treatment. So 5-pathers don't go out, run around going, I heal cancer, I heal this, I heal that. Hypnosis doesn't heal anything. There's only 2 sources of healing, in my opinion. And that is your body's own innate desire and ability to heal when given the proper air, water, nutrition, and rest. And the good Lord can do a healing once in a while when Lord's willing, right? We're not healers. But what we can do is we can remove stress in the body so that the body is better able to heal, better able to respond to proper medical treatment. So we go back to the question, well, what about doing this age regression? Doesn't that cause stress? Okay. If you're a properly trained 5-pather, you know that if one of these questions comes up, why should I continue doing age regression? It seems like when I do age regression, my clients don't come back. Okay. And what happens is that's because you didn't get enough resolution in the age regression for them to feel better in that session. And so this is one of the reasons it's very important to not think 5-path is 5-session. When you're in phase 2 and you're doing age regression, you need to start wrapping up that age regression wherever you are in it, such that the client feels better off than before you started. So there might be 5 SSEs and 1 ISE, but you're only on the 3rd SSE. And you look at your watch and say, holy smokes, Batman, I need to wrap this up. Well, how do you wrap it up? You take whatever event you're on and you treat it as if it was the ISE. You go back just before it, you give that child whatever information he or she needs to go through it without being negatively affected by it. Make that feel better. That will significantly reduce the stress inside of them. And they will be better off, and they will feel good, and they will feel like they did something important because they did. Next session, what do? You're going to do a date-time regression to where you left off. Let's say you left off when they were 12. I don't know if I've ever had an ISE at 12. They're usually 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, right? Years old. But that's as early as I got. So I'm going to say in a moment, count 5 back to 1. When we get back to 1, you're going to be at that time we visited last time when you were 12 years old. And it's going to be as if we did no work at all. She's still going to be afraid, or whatever she was. Why do we undo what we did? Because we need the emotion there to continue the affect bridge or the time tunnel back to ISE. Okay? So yes, I say go ahead, keep doing it. Realize that what we do as 5-pathers is complementary to medical services. One of the worst things you could ever do is, and I know none of you would do this, but it's kind of a continuum. Say, oh, you don't listen to your doctor. I am a hypnotist. I have 100 hours training. Put your life in my hands. Forget all that doctor stuff. I'm going to heal you. I am a healer. That would be, that you should burn in hypnosis hell if you do something like that, because it is wrong, wrong, wrong. Okay, what we do is we want everything going for our clients. If they've got a medical condition, we want them to be getting the proper, most effective medical treatment, and then we work on the mental, emotional, and spiritual part of that. Okay, awesome. Good. Anything to add or questions about that kind of situation? Okay, you guys. Let's see. Next. All right, so it's kind of interesting. Reading from this, I just wanted to run, dear Cal, okay. I just wanted to run something by you. I had some training in my university a couple of weeks ago. There's a guy there talking about hearing voices. By coincidence, who would have thought, I had been doing 5-path work with a lady and getting some great results. However, it became apparent that she seemed to be hearing voices and experiencing paranoia. So I asked this guy for some advice following the training, and I explained the work I'd been doing, helping her to process childhood trauma, forgiveness of others, forgiveness of self, that enabled her to hugely reduce her anxiety and function much better in her home and with friends without the paranoia. He said if he had met me earlier, he would have liked to put a chapter about that in his book that he was writing with a friend of his. Okay, so I wanted to ask your thoughts about this. I know there's been some communication about how we do not work with mental illness, staying within professional boundaries / code of conduct, etc. But a couple of, okay, so there you go. This, and I wrote her back. Very nice to hear from you. Congratulations on the good 5-path work you were doing. I'd like to encourage you to write the 5-path article that he asked you to do. Okay, so I mean, God, there's nothing wrong with that. Go ahead and write an article. Okay. Also in Sharon, I don't know if I mentioned it, she said write an article. Okay, and I said, if you want me to look at it before you send it to him, be happy to do that. Then I said, you're correct. I recommend that in general, 5-pathers do not work with individuals who have mental illness diagnoses, especially, here's the important part, especially if their aim is to work on the mental illness. If the 5-pather does, they need to do so under the referral and guidance of a mental health professional. I see no problem working with individuals who have serious physical illnesses as long as they do not replace established medical treatment with hypnosis. Hypnosis should be supportive of what the medical professionals are doing. All right. Certainly helping to remove stress and anxiety is something that is healthy for any individual and can only help fight the cancer or other serious illness. Okay, so kind of overlapping with what we just talked about. As far as AR, FU, and FOS work goes, it must be done well, effectively, and efficiently. We don't want to stir up negative emotions from the past and not resolve them in the session. That would only serve to increase the stress and not reduce it. Regarding the proposed, okay, good. Yep, so there we go. So once again, what we're doing is magnificent. It's working, working, working. If someone's got a mental illness, you don't work on the mental illness. There's different kinds of mental illnesses. If somebody, just in general, if somebody is psychotic, seeing things and hearing things that are not there, guess what? That's a really serious mental illness. And you shouldn't be working with these people without, making sure it's okay with their doctor, psychologist, psychiatrist, and that kind of thing. And I recommend that you do not. especially things like schizophrenia. I believe schizophrenia, what will happen as soon as you start getting into that stuff, they will do what's called decompensate, which means not be able to manage their symptoms and become worse. So they may become worse before they become better, and there's no reason to think they will become better. Serious mental illness like schizophrenia. So don't do it. If you are, licensed mental health professional and you have a team of people that are supporting the work you're doing, and you need to let them know, I'd like to do some hypnosis with this person to remove stress and maybe help her out. But I want you to know that her symptoms may increase before they decrease. And then you've got them supporting what's going on and not being shocked that they got worse. Okay. Cool. All right. I'm feeling very satisfied. Is there anything else anyone wants to bring up? So nice to see all you guys here. All right. Well, that's been an hour. Man, time flies when you're having fun, huh? All right. Any last words or questions for me?